Can you hear the war cry? The adrenaline bursts through the riverbanks. Welcome to the skirmish. I can feel my legs. Give me more pain, give me more pain, give me more. No doubt, this is a tragedy for all. It ain't over yet. Heads up and thank fuck you're still alive. Still air in my lungs, still blood in my veins. We're part of the last garrison. Still alive. Still air in my lungs, still blood in my veins.
Hello, I'm Rao, I yelp and wiggle. I'm Rory and I play guitar.
My name's Chris, I play bass.
My name's Rob and I'm the drummer.
We never really had any like towering aspirations or ambitions. Like it was very much just a hobby, and it was a hobby that got out of hand.
We were like 5 years old when we met. I do remember the first time that Rao asked if I wanted to be in a band with him. Because we went to the same primary school, and then I moved away to a different primary school. It was when we were about 11 or 12. I bumped into Rao in the supermarket around the corner from my old school. And I was like, oh, hey man, how's it going? He's like, yeah, pretty good. I remember Keith, Rao's dad, sort of going, go on, ask him. Because I was sort of sheepishly, do you want to be in a band with me? Because we grew up like a stone's throw from each other, so he could hear me practicing the drums from his house.
We had like one practice a week at that point where we used to practice at my dad's workplace, and it was like, I don't know, it was more like a social thing, wasn't it? We just like run around and be stupid.
We played spent a lot of the time playing hide and seek.
Yeah.
It's like a big old, was it glass bottle factory, and we just messed around.
Just like exploring it and getting up to no good.
And then ever so often picking up the instruments and learning how to play Hey Jude or something, the Beatles tracks or whatever we were, Oasis tracks or whatever we were playing at the time.
We grew up in a very much DIY punk scene. We put on our own shows. We promoted locally, mainly because of necessity. There was one local promotions company, and at the start they wouldn't put us on. We were probably a bit shit, like, let's be honest. So we ended up just booking the same venue that they booked and put on a show ourselves. And I guess then it was just the next stage, so we started recording our own music, managed to borrow a load of equipment from our school, just set up in Chris's parents' garage. And yeah, by the point that things were starting to kick off and labels were starting to knock on our doors and take us out for meals and, you know, schmooze us and all that kind of thing, it was that like learning process of like, so what are they going to do that we can do ourselves? And kind of realised that we've done a lot of the hard work in just the touring, because it's the promotion, it's the marketing that costs the money, and we'd already kind of done that just through hard graft, really, just up and down the country playing shows. There's still no better promotion than word of mouth. Like, it's just, if someone can enthusiastically tell their friends that you need to see this band, that's better than any like marketing or billboard or anything can provide you with.
Naked eye conspires with fear to form an idea so destructive and insincere. Reared in the mind, but outside you'll find that nature does not align.
I don't think we set out to like be people that wanted to change the world or anything, but Rao's always written lyrics and been passionate about issues that really matter to him and matter to us as a band. And it's amazing when we've had people come up to us and say, I decided to study this because of your music. But when people come up and tell us that our music has inspired them to question things more or research things more or take a particular, I don't know, path is really, we realise, I suppose, the power of our platform.
Yeah.
And it's quite a big deal for us to hear that.
I'd say listening to the likes of Rage Against the Machine and Refused and bands like that, I just remember having the realisation of how powerful music can be and getting across what you want to say and, you know, standing up against things, basically.
Look back to the past, we hail from one cast. This division will not last. Defined by your skin, forget we share kin. We turn apart, it feels as though we're sinking. I don't know how we'll get to shore again. Sinking, we surface through the waves. Sinking, I don't know how we'll get to shore again. Sinking, we surface through the waves. I feel desolate and underfoot, a tarmac river flows.
I think for many years I had absolutely no realization of my mental health. I wasn't very I was very self-analytical, almost in a subconscious way, you know, in the typical way that anxiety does. I was constantly ruminating about my behavior. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. You know, I'd feel shame for some totally insignificant thing, or I'd be anxious about something that was about to happen. And the classic definition of anxiety, experiencing failure in advance. You know, I'd be constantly thinking, oh, this is going to go wrong and that's going to go wrong. And I'd always have anxiety after events. But I had no idea what that was. I just thought that was me, and I had to deal with that, and that was just some idiosyncrasy that, I was faced with.
I think in the deepest, darkest moments, I didn't really see a way out. Not so much just the breakup. I think because I just lost my last two grandparents. I was also on Roaccutane, which is kind of isn't really great for your mental health. It was for rosacea, like a skin condition. That was 6 months, which also meant 6 months not drinking, which is not that I'm not massively into alcohol, but you know, I like to drink every now and then, and so that's having that to sort of fall back on as a sort of social crutch.
Right.
So I think I learned a lot about myself in terms of social anxiety because I rely on alcohol quite a lot.
I mean, I've had sort of mild anxiety all my life, but that was by far the biggest panic attack I've ever had. It was just mental. I don't even remember playing Download because that was Bristol was the Download warm-up show, and I was pumped full of all sorts of drugs. I remember having a vitamin shot from the Download doctor, the rock and roll doctor, as they call it, who has all the stuff that's pretty much legal, but on the edge. It's weird because sometimes the band can be the thing that gets you so run down that stuff happens, your health starts to fade, but it's also the thing that keeps you going and keeps the adrenaline up and keeps you enjoying your life. So it's a weird, the band is a love-hate thing.
Even though it may have been Shikari and our touring schedule that sort of put me in that state and of exhaustion, which then led to all that shit, I don't know how I would live without Shikari at the same time. So it's a sort of, I love overworking myself, but I overwork myself because I love the music and because I love what I do. So it's you have to sort of step back and try and be very sort of self-aware of okay, well, how am I? Am I just getting carried away in the adrenaline of it all? Do I need to stop and work out what I'm feeling and whether we need to sort of relax for a bit?
That was about the time that Brexit was happening, Trump was happening, and
there was just all this shit going on, and so it was very difficult to work out how I was going to put this into art and create something that was interesting and an interesting perspective. Because I think it's easy to go, you know, everyone sort of expected us to make a fuck Trump, you know, political statement album, and we need a lot of that, of course, but we've kind of done that. Like, not specifically to him, but you know, that's stuff that we've been making. So I wanted to sort of take a step back and see what interesting perspective I could offer. And I think it wasn't until I sort of started to marry what was going on in my personal life to the political.
I wanna live outside of all of this. I wanna live outside of all of this.
For me, if I was, you know, told that I had to write basically the same album over and over again, I'd just be so bored. It wouldn't be honest. It wouldn't be genuine, like, emotion and music and an outpouring of one's soul. Like, so for us, it's just what we do. Like, I'm quite fidgety as a person, like creatively. So I just like to know that I'm always pushing myself and we're always progressing as a band. Like, a lot of our musical heroes as well have, you know, it's the progressive nature that we really respect and we're inspired by, whether it's going way back to like David Bowie or like Radiohead. So I think it's just something that's really important to us.
Look outside of all of this. I keep taming, keep training, keep taming the horse, but it's wild, it's feral, and it's running its course. Patiently like this racing lion in the reception room of my mind, waiting for the door to be loved, unattended and open for an unwanted guest. And it's so busy I'd be so